our moderator for tonight, USC student Heather Blackmore.
Hello.
So Marcus, you return from a very remarkable series of adventures with an amazing collection of footage. How do you start to shape that into a film?
I don't think I did on purpose originally. It's just like little clips to show friends, and then they kind of just accumulated, and then I kind of string them together until they got longer and longer, and then at some point it kind of took shape into took a little narrative turn.
At what point did the idea to make a feature?
I think the idea came like to put it all together just before Austin City Limits, and at that point I was like, well, if I bring more friends and more cameras, we can document it better and kind of give it a more unique look through different people's eyes as well. So luckily a lot of my friends from the film school here came along with on that trip and helped me document a lot better, and that kind of pushed it into making it one cohesive piece rather than just little snippets.
So did you or your friends shoot all of the footage that we see in the film? Like all of the concert footage?
Yeah. No, nothing was like sourced from anywhere else.
Okay.
Most of the festivals I went by myself or with a buddy, and then Austin City Limits was like the whole crew. But yeah, all the footage is from me or my buddies. Yeah.
Did you have a connection to music or concert films and rock docs and things like that before you fell into Coachella in 2010?
I loved music. I was a massive music fan, and I had gone to so few concerts before Coachella. Like I really had no experience at festivals. Coachella was my very first festival ever. I think I loved music growing up, but didn't have that live experience. And so once I did have that full live experience, I was, catching up on a lot of lost time, I guess you could say.
Okay. And how do you respond to people, other than that it's the fun makes up for it? How do you respond to people who suggest that there's an element of thievery involved in sneaking in?
I mean, I guess there is. I guess my response would be, whatever money that festival or band didn't make by me going in there, hopefully, maybe in some way this film will inspire other people to go and see more live music in a way.
Great. And can you talk to us about the MTV Connection?
Connection. I think we just showed it to a bunch of distributors at one point before it was finished, and they had a lot of excitement for it. And coming for me, growing up watching MTV, like that was where I discovered music as a kid. And I think a lot of us here like watching TRL and oh, this new music video just dropped, go watch, turn it on right now. That's we don't have the internet and stuff to watch videos. So there's a really is an important part of my childhood growing up watching MTV. So to kind of come full circle almost and have something music based to have them champion is really cool.
The film is really personal in a lot of ways, and I'm curious how difficult it was to kind of shape your personal voice and your appearance.
It was awful.
And your narrative.
Like the first cuts were all just the music, just like a rock doc scene from perspective, and it was cool, but that would only reach an audience of the fans of those people. Like just like most rock documentaries, tour documentaries, that's why you don't go and see it's very rare to have live music documentaries, mass distributed, because it's hard to watch live music on screen. It doesn't translate. And so it wasn't until I started putting in more sneaking in footage and more of like the challenges of getting in that people started really connecting to it outside of the fans of the music. And that kind of just led into the sneaking in footage to the personal, with Ryan and then just kind of led. And I realized that having that narrative, we were able to reach beyond just the fans of the music, and people that necessarily aren't fans of the music can still connect because there's universal themes there that, regardless if you're a fan or not, there's something to latch onto, I guess.
I think it becomes a really effective kind of personal narrative. I was also really struck by the number of different types of media that you seem to work with, and I'm curious how many different types there are, how many different cameras you take with you.
Sure. I was lucky that in the very beginning of this, the first Coachella, that was right when that 5D Mark II came out, and it was just before people realized that these still-looking cameras can take video. So they're able to get a lot of footage before people caught on they were taking footage. So there's a lot of 5D in there. GoPro, as you early contour, little camera on the helicopter. I shot a lot of Super 8 and 16 millimeter. The 16 millimeter camera actually came from here, and that first Coachella was the very last weekend the camera was checked out to us the whole semester, and I happened to have some leftover film from my project, and ended up shooting that. And then they canceled film at USC for that class after that, for the last class. So that camera was like, its last use was at Coachella. I was really lucky that I was here for that one to actually shoot on film, and that kind of inspired me, like really lit my passion for shooting on film. So I also shot a lot of Super 8 millimeter, my grandfather's camera, and yeah, so 16, Super 8, HD, GoPro, iPhone for the Grammy stuff. Yeah, everything like you said.
Can you talk a little bit about your time at USC? Did you end up finishing your 2 classes? Maybe.
I did not. I haven't yet. Yet, Mom. No. I just ever since then I've been really lucky to be on the road with a lot of these bands, and I just honestly I've not had a free moment to come back, and I'd have to pay for it myself coming back this time. And there's a lot of reasons that it hasn't happened yet. But no, I am still not technically even an alumnus at this alumni screening series. But maybe someday.
Great. I'd like to open it up to the audience. Do we have questions? Yeah.
There was a film made of the train ride show with Old Crow and...
Yeah, it's called Big Easy Express.
Did you contribute anything?
Yeah, that's a cool story. So the train tour was covered by one of my hero filmmakers named Emmett Malloy. And when I heard I was invited on the train tour and learned that he was directing this film about it, I was like doubly stoked because I've been watching his surf films growing up, and he does amazing work. And the managers kind of went to him, and he had a big crew, and they said, hey, there's this kid who's going to be there, he's going to have a camera, let him do whatever he wants, and he'll you can use his footage if you want, And they saw me as like this pest who's just like always getting the shots and like messing everything up and whatnot, always in the way. But I ended up becoming really good friends with them, and they ended up using a lot of my footage you saw here in that exact documentary. And yeah, it's a cool experience getting to work with them and to be a part of that documentary too. That documentary, it won a Grammy last year, it won South by. It's really cool. You guys check it out. It's called Big Easy Express. It's about that train tour doc.
Big festival goer, enjoyed the movie. But I noticed a lot of it was kind of out of focus. And did you post like rough it up for it? Because it seemed like I was gonna say a film said, man, sure this stuff should be more in focus. Did you kind of, or is that just what you had that was the best moments?
I think focus class by those last 2 weeks of school. I'm sorry.
No, the focus of the camera, the images.
No, a lot of it is shooting with one eye and keeping an eye on security with the other one. So there's a lot of moving around and trying to get a lot of these scenes kind of seem coherent, seem in sync. Almost nothing is in sync scene. It's a matter of running around getting as many shots as possible and stealing shots from other songs of that same set to kind of cut it together to make it look like it's a big crew shooting it. Really, it's just one person. So there's a lot of running around involved and very horrible focusing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, over here.
What caused HBO to ask you to shoot The Running of the Bulls? It seems very different from...
Yeah. So HBO. So I had been to Spain previously. Actually, I met some amazing Spanish foreign stations here that I got really close with, And that summer, the summer before all this, I went and lived with them. And I had no idea what The Running of the Bulls was, but they lived in Pamplona, and I heard about it, and I really wanted to shoot it. And the only way to shoot it was to be a press photographer. And so this is long before I was singing at festivals. I wrote a fake letter to the government of Spain saying I was a press photographer from Los Angeles for this blah blah blah. It's all fake with like fake signatures and stamps and stuff. And I got a press pass, and I got to shoot, you know, elbow to elbow next to these like legend journalist photographers from around the world. You know, people that I recognize their photos. They're amazing people, and they're getting great stuff. But we're all in the same areas. There's certain press areas that are very close to the Bulls, but everyone's getting the same photos over and over and over. And so after a couple of days, I try to figure out what can I get that's different from all of these legend dudes, because there's no one I can compete with. They've been doing this for 40 years at the same run every year. And so that's when I started going into the course and getting hopefully low enough that the bull doesn't go down and jumps over. And that's once I started getting those jumping shots, I put a link on my Vimeo, and somehow they came across that. And basically they saw, oh, here's a kid that knows the place, speaks the language, and knows where to go for all this crazy shots no one else is getting. And he's probably really cheap. That's, you know, which is all true. So that's how the HBO thing came about.
Can you talk about that choice to keep the camera running as you're staring up at the paramedics in the bullring in Pamplona?
I don't know if it was a choice.
Okay.
I think it's right. I think, yeah, I don't. At that point, it's just lying on my chest, and because it's a fisheye, you can see everything. But yeah, no, I was more concerned on. Here's what's going through my mind. I was behind a barrier at that point, and having associated with all these photographers and learning as much as I can, I knew that if you get hit by a bull, like it's very taboo for a photographer to get hit by, you know, to be anywhere in that situation. And if they put me on a stretcher and lifted me up above that barrier, I would be in view of all the other photographers, and that would be front page, you know, photo next day, because I'm wearing like the official photography bib and everything. And so in Spanish, like I was yelling at them, no, I'm okay, I can walk. Don't pick me up, let me go, I can walk, I'm fine. And that's why they're kind of like hesitating, because I'm like trying not to, like, because I knew if I got picked up, it'd be in photographs, and I did not want to, you know, be that new kid who's like, you know, all green, fresh on the scene, gets hit, you know, like, you know, so I kind of hobbled my way to the infirmary, and then, yeah. So yeah, it was, I wasn't really thinking about the camera. I think the camera just kept on rolling. It's amazing. I think that the lens got bent. It kept on rolling. The lens survived. I got it fixed. I still use that lens in the same camera body today. So, little Canon plug, please sponsor me.
More questions? Yeah, over here.
What was your favorite band to shoot?
Oh man, in this film now?
Just in life.
Oh man. I've been really lucky lately. The project I'm working on currently is I'm directing a documentary with Elton John, and I've been all over the world with him since last April, and that is an eye-opening experience. That man is at the same time amazing, passionate, kind, generous, and hilarious, and the most filthy humor. The stories he has from the 70s are just insane. And then just the places we go, and it's just a completely different Alice in Wonderland type experience. And the music still holds, and his performing is still just incredible. So I think that's definitely one of the ones up there, for sure.
Will you be a Bonnaroo then with him?
Yeah, here we go. The story's happening all over again. My little brother's graduating high school that same weekend, and I've got a decision to make. I'm also figuring it out.
Bonnaroo.
Yeah, so I don't know yet.
Do you think festivals are going to beef up security after they see your film?
They already are beefing up security. I think this was a couple years ago, and they've already taken measures since then. Actually, 2 weekends ago, a couple of buddies were in the back. We snuck into Coachella just for old time's sake again, and it was harder. But we did it. Justin got caught, actually. He got caught. Yeah. But he made it in afterwards. We decided the old school way this time. We're not going to fake wristbands because it takes a lot of prep, and we were all busy up until like the Friday we were there. So we decided to do it old school way, bring some nice shoes, and try to stay hydrated and just run for it. We jumped 3 fences, went through the orange groves again, and there's these huge fences with the spikes going out inverse. You know, we ended up jumping over and basically landing in the laps of the security guards. Like we startled them pretty bad, but it was a long chase, like the entire festival on foot. But we got in, and it was actually kind of funny. Group Love, who's playing this year at Coachella, who I've become close with, knew that I was sneaking in that day, and we got in just during their set, so we could run and we finally ditched them all, get in, and I get on my buddy's shoulder during their set, and I go up, and I'm visible, and they all at the same time while they're playing, no way! Like, all of them at the same time, because they knew I had to sneak in that day. But yeah, anyway.
Grim, was that real that you just ran into him on the
Literally,
the
I was
highway and you
on the
became
Bath Road,
Right?
facing west towards the setting sun, and yeah, I thought, you think of England, you think, oh, that must be an easy place to hitchhike. It's like all their music festival culture in the back and all that. But no, it was really, really took a long time. And Enterprise rent-a-car delivery truck stopped down the road and I raced down, and it's 100%.
Wait, and he took you all the way?
He took me most of the way. Then he had to split off to go back to Wales because he was already overdue for his delivery. So I jumped in with another car, and they didn't make it.
And you somehow stayed in touch with him?
Facebook. That guy is a fiend on Facebook. He is. That's the only reason I'm still on Facebook, is just to keep up on Grim. He is awesome. I think on there, you guys should hit him up. Graham Crowley. So yeah, hit up Graham Crowley.
Have you tried Burning Man, or are there any other festivals you've been to that didn't show up in the movie?
There's a lot of festivals that we've done Outside Lands and Beni Kassim and lots and lots of festivals. We had so much footage from some festivals we can only pick.
Burning Man, have you done that?
I haven't done Burning Man yet, and the only reason is because I've been on tour with bands during the same time every single year. This year I've gotta go. I gotta go. Yeah.
Don't sneak in.
Yeah. Don't sneak in. Okay.
More questions? Yeah, back there.
Who chose the title of the team since you have cameras and you at all times?
It was kind of we pitched a lot of titles about, but that one stuck because there are so many places that's the sign that you see backstage, and that was kind of like the invitation. Whenever you see that, okay, we gotta go there.
Can you take all of us to the Grammy next time?
Yeah, you're all invited to the Grammys.
Is there a question down here?
Yeah, so, hey Marcus, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
Congrats, dude. So what's up with the distribution of this? How many theaters, when can we see it?
So MTV is taking over, and they are, we're going to be doing a network release in August, and up until then doing a limited theatrical run to start getting buzz going, college screenings, limited theatrical, some film festivals. I want to screen it at music festivals.
Mm-hmm.
Bonnaroo has a cinema tent, Glastonbury has a cinema tent, and what better way to feel that you got, paid $300 while you're watching a film about. It's just a great place to screen the film. So yeah, doing a bunch of that kind of stuff. We'll probably do a proper LA premiere, which if you're not sick of the film and you want to see it again, we'll do a big LA premiere and have bands play after and all that stuff, and it'll be a fun night.
Do you have any advice for current SC film students to get their stuff noticed?
Thanks, Mom. To get it noticed, I think, the way it worked for me is I literally went up to a roadie, handed him a DVD, and I'm not saying that's gonna work, but I think it's just kind of keep your mind open to don't say no to opportunities, and you really don't know what event or whatever can lead to anywhere else. So give everyone a chance, and just be open. Just be really open to opportunities.
Right here.
Perhaps we should all write in and make him an honorary graduate of our great university. I'll be teaching here next year, so I want him.
Thank you. That would take a lot of heat off. That'd be awesome. Cool.
Other questions?
How
how exactly did you get into the Grammys? Because I work the Grammy red carpet every year. I get the proper credentials and everything. I can get into the after party, like officially, but I can never get into the Grammys. And so I'm wondering how the heck you did it.
It took a lot of patience, to be honest, and it's just a matter of watching for the right times and the right, just observing. And the trick is to observe, but not be observed while you're observing. And that's hard when, there's not nooks and crannies to hide in. But yeah, there's many levels of security, and the tickets are big plastic ones, and you have to show that you have to hold them up, and not just like anybody, everybody. Like I was going in next to Bruno Mars, who had to show up his ticket. So I was like, the whole like, it's in here kind of thing, and just keep on going. And, like, wait till there's a big surge of people. But at some point, you get to the metal detectors, and I have to go into the metal detector, and then 10 feet later, there's a scanner, and everyone has to scan in. So I call that purgatory, past the metal detectors before the scanners, and you're kind of just like, you can only chill in there for so long before, why are you just chilling there? And that's when I got really lucky, and there was that group of people. It's kind of hard to see there, but a group of people walking like in a different direction, kind of down the side, and they went through a different entrance. But when they got to that entrance, the security was like, no, you guys can't come in here. As soon as he went out like that to them, I kind of went around him, opened the door myself, and put myself in. And then after that, it was a matter of each section, especially the nominee floor. The nominee floor is very tightly guarded, and I had a tough time getting there, so I waited just outside. Like, okay, I know Mumford's going to be there. They had no idea I was attempting this at all. And I waited until they were walking down. I'm like, well, my only chance to get in there is like, that's right when I put my arm around Winston. It's right when they were going through there, and that's what got me through there. And then they made me stay. I was trying to just say hi and bolt and sort of hide, but no, they weren't having that.
Any total failures trying to get in somewhere sneaking?
Graduation. I made it into everything I've tried. Not easily. There's a lot of times where I get kicked out a bunch of times, and it takes a while. But yeah, so far so good. Yeah.
Back there.
I've been to a few music festivals, and I wanted you to comment on Glastonbury, which I've always wanted to go to.
Oh, dude.
That just seems like the biggest one.
It is.
And if you can comment, because you could shoot footage for days on that.
So, anybody been to Coachella or Bonnaroo here? Those kind of festivals. Those are great. They don't hold a lick to any kind of English festival. In Coachella, you have manicured lawns, very neat lines, security everywhere smiling and helping you along, a beer garden for the drinkers over there, and it's really well run. Bonnaroo is about 8 times the size of Coachella. Instead of 80,000 people, it's 170 to 200,000 people. It's the amount of bands and stages there is insane. There is no like camping area and music area. It's literally there's one perimeter fence that goes 8 miles around, and you just bring your tent in and you camp wherever you can. And there are no rules, and it's just absolute mayhem. There are people that go there weeks in advance in the woods and set up little mini hippie villages, and they don't watch any music for like 9 days straight, and they have the time of their lives. So it's so much more than a music festival. It's an insane, crazy experience. If you want the biggest music in the world, you get the Pyramid Stage. If you want to go into these crazy, weird hippie communities in the woods, there's that. If you want to go to the electronic world, like there's so much there. It's so much bigger, and the mentality is what makes the biggest difference. The mentality of the people. Everyone's in one spot together in the thick of it, in the mud, like living life, and no one cares about how their manicure looks. At Coachella.
Right there.
I don't know how if you could answer this and put it into words, but how do you think this experience has changed? The first time you snuck into Coachella and took your camera to like
that first time, how that changed me, like I realized the power of live music. And I realized, I've seen like concert docs and stuff growing up, and they're cool, but they don't translate until you know what that feeling is like, and you're in this immense crowd. Everyone is going through the same thing, different things at the same time, and I don't know. It's the bond of music, of live music. That changed me just to realize the power that has to enhance people's lives all at the same time. And it's just a really cool thing to be one tiny thing that's massive massive.
Well, I mean, like you spoke on it in the movie, like you had the moment of decision of whether you're going to go to your graduation, if you worked on since kindergarten, or go on tour with Mumford and all of that. I mean, like that type of moment. I mean, I know you mentioned your parents, but if you're comfortable, you know, what do you think is different about you now versus before you made that choice?
Man, I think it's instilled confidence in my. I've got more confidence, I think, because or not maybe not confidence, just I've realized that things that seem out of reach aren't that far out of reach if you work really hard and you look outside of the normal ways you're supposed to be doing things. And a lot of people, oh, that'll never happen, like, don't even begin to try. And I think this film is a testament to that. Like, here, you know, there's pieces of the film in here that, like, I was stealing, you know, when I was ditching class and all this stuff just because I love the music. And just, you know, to someday have, you know, this stuff I shot for fun with my friends, for MTV to come along and buy it and put it out to the rest of the world. I mean, that's, you know, that instilled a lot of confidence that you can accomplish a lot if you kind of allow yourself to believe it, and not just believe it, but chase after and work really hard for it. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys.